What's up guys? Today we're going to check out Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania on 4K UHD. I'm not going to get into how good or bad the movie is, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 4.5K, it's got a 4K DI, it's rated PG-13, runtime is 124 minutes, aspect ratio is 239:1, so no IMAX shots, and the audio is in Dolby Atmos. Let's jump on over to the Atmos viewer and see if this is your standard Disney Marvel mix. At about 13 minutes in, when our heroes gets sucked into the quantum realm, you can see that this is a dynamically active mix. It actually makes use of my wide channels and the surround center. You'll hear sound effects zipping past you in the lower channels and over your head. At 30 minutes in, when Venkman's ship arrives, you'll hear the ship fly above your head with this super loud horn blaring in the background. And probably the most active use of high channels come when the ants come marching in at 1:41 minutes. You'll hear them scurrying through all your available speakers, and I thought that this was the most immersive part of the movie.
I don't know, just don't be a dick.
Now those few scenes aside, I'm gonna say about 98% of the movie remains locked in a 7.4 configuration. There's huge battle scenes that take place which only light up the lower channels, even though there were ships and other things happening visually in the upper part of the screen, so things should have been flying over your head in the upper channels, even though you couldn't hear anything. There's still decent high channel activity sprinkled throughout, it just doesn't always match what you're seeing on screen. As for bass response, no surprise, it was lacking any real depth down low. When Scott's running around in giant form, you'd think the subwoofers would kick in and rumble your entire house, but it was barely a whimper. I'm sure if you wanted to run your subs a little bit hot that you could get some more impact out of the mix, but at a calibrated level, the subwoofers, at least mine, didn't have all that much to do. And there is a ton of action in this movie. If you're new to the channel and you're into home theater and like to know if a movie is worth playing on your surround setup, or like to know about the latest and greatest in audio and video gear, then tap the subscribe button for new weekly videos. And also, thank you to all my Patreon and YouTube member subscribers for supporting the channel and making this purchase of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania possible on iTunes, so I can bring you, the home theater movie-loving community, this 4K review. If you want to join Patreon or the YouTube membership, you can find links below in this video's description. As for video quality, this is a very digitally clean looking transfer, which means there's zero film grain. Now there are some crispy details here, especially with close-up near-field shots. You'll see all the pores and wrinkles and all that, and a lot of times you'll see how textured the costumes are. But at the same time, it's easy to see how the live-action elements stand apart from the rest of the scenery, which is mostly all green screen CG. So for that, unless this digital stream is really lacking in bitrate, I felt that there may have been a light passive DNR applied to soften the overall image and to blend everything together more cohesively. So there was always this slight softness to the picture that kept it from being truly 4K crisp. I also noticed that when there was movement, sometimes the image would blur and then clear back up. Again, this could just be the stream, so we'll have to wait to see if the disc is any different. As for the color palette, this is a fairly bright, vivid transfer that has some really good HDR pop. It's got a max CLL of 1887 and a max fall of 1006. It isn't eye-scorching, but there's still plenty of sparkly, specular highlights from all the explosions and lighting effects. And I didn't notice any highlight detail being blown out. On the other hand, I felt some shadow detail tended to be overly dark with detail getting crushed. It could just be a stylistic choice, but it is worth mentioning. Overall, it's a good looking transfer, but nothing extraordinary, so I'm gonna have to go with an 8.1. For audio, this is typical Disney stuff. You will have to raise your volume louder than normal, and the bass, I felt, should have been a whole lot better. It's still got some good envelopment here and there, and the audio doesn't always portray what you're seeing on screen. So I'm gonna have to go with a 7.9. Well, those are my thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Have you guys seen it, and where would you rank it in the Ant-Man trilogy? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, if you do want to pick up this movie, I will leave some links for it down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you'd like to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.